Steve Kingston in Washington for us. Well, let's stay in Washington because Roscoe Bartlett is one of the 10 congressmen who filed the lawsuit against President Obama, and he joins us now on the line. Congressman, thank you very much for speaking to BBC Newsday. Now, is our correspondent right there? This is a question about when is a war not a war. The White House saying that this is not a war. US military are not engaged in sustained fighting, therefore they don't need your approval.
Well, we're calling it a war here. He's using our planes and our missiles to kill people. Those who are being affected by our planes and our missiles would certainly believe that this is a war. And by the way, there's a lot of misunderstanding of the War Powers Act. What it requires is that there are only 3 conditions under which the president can commit our troops. One of those is if we have declared war. The second is if we have given him legislative approval, and the third is if we are under attack or attack is imminent. None of those 3 things occurred. So the minute that he started the war in Libya, he was in violation of the War Powers Act. Under any of those 3 conditions, he can commit our troops. And if he has not had our permission, which is the third one, of course, when we're under imminent attack, then he has 60 days to get our permission. If he doesn't get our permission, he has to pull out within the next 30 days. That's the 90 days. But he has been in violation of the War Powers Act and of our Constitution from the very minute that he committed troops to Libya.
Is this not more about the fact that America is stretched in terms of its military engagement? Of course, your work in Libya, you're in Afghanistan, you're pulling out of Iraq. Is that not why you're doing this, why you're filing this lawsuit?
Oh, not at all. You know, and I might have voted to approve going into Libya. I would have to ask my grandkids and my great-grandkids because we're not going to pay for this. We don't have any money. We've now fully mortgaged the future of my kids, so it's now my grandkids and my great-grandkids are going to pay for this. So I'd have to go and ask them. Is the moral imperative here adequate? You know, the moral reasons adequate for us to further burden your generation? I think they would have probably told me, yeah, Granddad, great-granddad, this is okay. We don't want to see those people killed over there. You know, I'm not a part of this lawsuit because I disapprove of going into Libya. I might have approved of going into Libya. My reason for joining the lawsuit is that the president, this is not the king's army. He cannot take our military and use it anytime, anywhere he wishes, against anybody he wishes. This is a very dangerous precedent. It is in violation of the Constitution and in violation of our War Powers Act. A number of years ago, several years ago, I was a part of a suit against Clinton because he did the same thing when he went into Kosovo. We sued. There were 32 of us who sued that time. It went as far as our Supreme Court, and every level of our court said that we did not have standing. None of them would rule on it on the merits. We hope that this time the courts will rule on the merits.
OK, Congressman Bartlett, thanks very much for sharing your thoughts with BBC Newsday. We have to leave it there.